Welcome to the Edistar Talks podcast, where we invite some amazing educational rock stars who lives to inspire and loves to encourage. Hosted by an educator, facilitator, and the EdTech coach, Sumedha Sodhi. In this show, we will discuss about how educators can amplify student engagement, shake up learning, and can rock the curriculum content with 21st century skills. So if you are looking for ways to rock your class, stay tuned with us and be the never to be forgotten.
Learning can be hindered by students' mental health. Listening to increased reports of mental health concern among students, it is imperative that we understand how best to provide support to our students' mental health and well-being to help them learn and succeed. In order to best serve our students, we must listen to them, understand their perspective on this issue. So here we have some teenagers telling us about what mental health means to them.
Hello, I'm Akshara and I am 18 years old. And for me, mental health is the ability to set healthy boundaries, not feeling guilty about taking me time, saying no whenever required, and prioritizing oneself as much as we would others. It is about being unapologetic, confident, and feeling comfortable in your skin and taking things at a pace which feels right to you and not according to others. Thank you.
Refers to cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. It's the capacity to adapt to life. For me, it comprises how I think, feel, and believe. A good mental health involves being happy, being able to socialize, work productively, being optimist, and furthermore, being able to cope in difficult situations.
To me, mental health is a combination of various aspects which are related to economic and social security. Again, these can be subdivided into various categories. For example, economic well-being provides a sense of better standing in a society where one can be in a more powerful position to convey his or her opinions and thoughts, etc. And these can be heard and received by others very positively. Whereas social security related to good relations among various social elements which involve family and other stakeholders of society. Both these factors play an important role to give sound mental health to an individual.
Hello everyone, I'm Kushi Makhija from Alcon International School, and according to me, mental health means to be true to yourself. And it does not mean to always be happy, but try to understand it is okay to not be okay. As it is rightly said by BTS Jeon Jungkook, if you would be true to yourself, every hassle in your mind will sort out. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Edu Rockstar Talks podcast is back with its 10th episode with student change makers taking the lead in this episode, expressing their views on mental health and well-being. May being the Mental Health Awareness Month, and also internationally this week is celebrated as the Student Voice Week. So today we have invited two change makers. We have Tanmay Gupta and Yug Gupta as our guests today, who are the founders of a youth foundation named Together We Can. They founded this organization 1 year ago with a spirit to bring a change in this world and by working towards the global challenges which are stated in the United Nations Agenda 2030. The 17 SDGs, by undertaking monthly endeavors, are based on their SDGs, which they particularly take every month to showcase that what kind of activities can be undertaken to bring a change in this world. So let's meet our guest today. Hello, Tanmay and Yog. How both of you are doing and how are you feeling today to be my guest? Over to you.
Hello, ma'am. So, I'm Tanmay Gupta. I am student of 10th grade at Alcon International School, India. I'm also the founder of Together We Can. I'm feeling great today and I'm very excited to come to your podcast and talk about one of the most important topic, which is mental health.
Hello everyone, I am Yug Gupta and I study in grade 10th at Alcon International School. I consider myself as a change catalyst, planting seeds of change into people's mind. For initiating change, I, along with my elder brother Tanmay, have founded Together We Can Youth Foundation, which focuses on social and environmental initiatives. Thank you for having us, ma'am. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Tanmay and Yug. I am equally excited and grateful that you accepted my invitation to be my guest today and come to my platform to share your views, the students' view about mental health. We have heard a lot of perspective about what teachers have to say, what parents have to say, but I wanted to record your perspective as a child, what you are going through, and what kind of mental health awareness you have as students. So that really means a lot to me. And listening about your organization is a great act because you are doing such good things for the for bringing the change in this world. So my next question is that kindly update our audience about your organization and what inspired you to start the Together We Can.
So, ma'am, as I am an ace learner and an agile change maker who believes in bringing positive changes in the world, so while doing one of our school projects that was under the Global Citizenship Education Program, the GCED program, we were asked to start one student-led project. So, as a young change maker, me and my brother decided to start a youth organization. Together we can. So it is an organization where we can strive for excellence with innovation and yet remain grounded and thankful and continue to give back to the society. So currently we have completed more than 60 projects and have many more successful collaborations. Over to you, ma'am.
Oh, that is such an inspiring story that you have told everyone here, that how you started with this organization and how you are taking up so many projects, and I really get inspired by all the work you are doing. God bless you both and keep doing the great things. So let us start with the talk today. COVID-19 pandemic has presented many challenges to students, educators and parents. Children already coping up with mental health conditions have been especially vulnerable to the changes which are happening around us, and now we are learning about the broad impact of these changes on students and children. And because of the result of schools being closed, the physical distancing policy that has to be followed by children, by adults, even children have to live in isolation, and other unexpected changes which are happening. In some ways, the COVID 19 era seems like exactly the right time to educate children on how to manage intense sadness, isolation, and anxiety which they are experiencing at this point of time. But during these horrible times where many children have lost their near and dear ones, including their parents, is that the right message to send to students to push through hardship, bounce back from failure, and come out stronger? Or should it be about empathy, compassion, and getting through this time? So, on this Student Voice Day, we want to know about the thoughts of students on this issue and spread the message across to all the teachers, students, and parents. So, let's start discussing about mental health. My first question is, what do you think is mental health and how it is different from mental illness?
So, ma'am, when you asked me this question, I suddenly remembered a great quote I read somewhere. You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop them from controlling you. So similarly, mental health is the foundation for the well-being and effective functioning of individuals. So it is the ability to think, learn and understand one's emotion and the reaction of others. Mental health is a state of balance in which an individual realizes his or own abilities and can cope with the normal stresses of life and can work productively. On the other hand, the mental illness would refer to condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, mood, or behavior. These can include, but are not limited to, depression and anxiety. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, indeed, Tanmay, you said it right, and I also believe that wherever we are, we should start, and whatever resources we have, we should use them, and whatever the God has planned for us, we should do that. So, to remain positive is the best thing in these times. But I have seen that compared to adults, young people do not seek help for mental health problems. Like generally, adults keep on discussing, but children always hide their problem. Maybe they have fear. Why do you think, as students, you can tell this better, that why there is such a stigma around mental health?
You have raised a very pertinent question, ma'am, and I feel that this affects everybody. The stigma attached to mental health is due to the lack of awareness and ignorance about mental illness. When it comes to disorders like depression or substance abuse, much of the population still views these as signs of moral weakness instead of complicated diseases of the brain. Like whenever we are physically unwell, our first instinct is to seek medical help. Whereas, in the scenario of having a mental illness, people are first afraid to recognize that they need the help of a professional due to the stigma attached to it and the fear of being looked down upon in the society. Advances in science have shed the light on the fact that these are diseases and should not be treated as like any other physical illness, not to be stigmatized. Over to you now.
Yeah, I think Yug, you have brought some of the great points because mental health awareness is very, very important, and it should be discussed, it should be spoken out, and should not be stigmatized in the society because otherwise it is going to cause a more harm. So thank you for bringing out those points. So, while reading about mental health, the most surprising thing I found was that although we say a lot about mental health, that it has a powerful influence on our overall health, but we are doing very little to prioritize our emotional well being. So, why do you think it is important to prioritize mental health and why we should line up our beliefs with our action?
So I personally believe, ma'am, that having a healthy body is a prerequisite for leading a happy life. And I think mental health is an integral part of having that healthy body. So mental health encompasses a psychological, emotional, and social well-being. This means it impacts how we feel, think, and behave each day. It also contributes to our decision-making process, how we cope with stress, and how we relate to others in our lives. Being healthy emotionally can promote productivity and effectiveness in activities like work, school, or caregiving. It plays an important part in health of our relationships and allows us to adapt to changes in our life and cope with adversity. Let us take the example of many actresses and actors who, even after achieving wealth and fame in their lives, have been suffering from depression or other mental problems. This tells us the importance of mental health, that even after reaching your targets in life, you cannot lead a happy life without taking care of your mental health. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Tanmay. You very rightly said, and I would like to sum up by saying that mental health is our priority, and happiness is an essential, and self-care is a necessity. So we should not avoid mental health at any cost. And we have seen that COVID-19 outbreak has caused people to feel powerless as they are asked to make significant and unprecedented alterations to their lifestyle overnight, directly touching on three key elements of mental health, that is, our autonomy, competency, and connectedness. However, there are ways we can adopt to make sure mental health needs are being met effectively. What one thing both of you would like to suggest to our audience that they can do on regular basis that would boost their mental immunity?
Ma'am, I can think of a lot of ways through which we can rejuvenate our mind on a regular basis. Here are some practical tips which I have been following. In the morning, instead of hopping out of bed abruptly or reaching out for your phone, try allowing yourself time to wake up gradually. You should even appreciate the simplest things in your life.
I also feel that journaling is a great practice that helps many topics that people are facing right now, including the stress or such the drastic life changes of being isolated. So while journaling, always make one commitment a day and try to accomplish it. And one more point would be to always eat high quality and nutrient dense foods. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanmay and Yug, for giving such good mental booster strategies. I think our audience are going to greatly benefit out of these. So, as you have mentioned in some of your ways and strategies, that physically also we have to take care of our health. So, it means you also say or support this that physical and mental health are almost connected to each other, then many people realize it. But the mind and the body are connected in reality. So this means taking care of physical health can also improve our mental health. So what are your views on this? Do you think mental health is connected to physical health? Why or why not?
Mind is the powerhouse which runs our body. Without a healthy mind, we cannot hope to have a healthy body. Yes, our mental health is important for our physical well being, and here are some examples how. Depression, the most common mental disorder in this era, doesn't just impact your mood and motivation, it can directly affect the immune system by suppressing our cell responses to viruses and bacteria, making it easier to get sick and stay sick for longer. Depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders often result in persistent feelings of tiredness and exhaustion. Some inappropriately suggest that it's all in your head, but research shows that it is not the case. Being mentally tired leads to physical tiredness, and angry outbursts and the stress of anxiety are bad for our heart. And study set out to see if acute emotions can cause heart attacks like you see in the movies. And unfortunately, this trope is also true. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, very nice. You have brought some of the very good concerns about how our physical health and mental health are connected, and we should not avoid our physical health because it is going to impact our mental health. Thank you for bringing out those points. But I have suffered myself with COVID 19, and I have realized it that no matter how optimistic we are, there are some certain times and days where things keep falling apart, and it requires a bit of motivation to get back on track. So, how do you suggest to our audience that they can keep motivated even in the most challenging times?
See, ma'am, what I believe that this is a very relevant issue. Even you told us that uh, people have to make overnight changes for this lockdown. They have to be isolated from their friends, families, and their relatives. So what I see and believe is that man is a social animal. He needs to go out and have company, and this has been made difficult by COVID-19. Fear, worry, and stress are normal responses to real threats and at times when we are faced with uncertainty or the unknown. So it is normal and understandable that people are experiencing fear in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. So the few things we can do to remain motivated are: set small daily goals. Always carve out time in a day for work and for relaxation. You can always schedule virtual get together with friends, relatives, or family. And in the end, the most important point is to know that it is okay to not always be productive. Thank you.
Yes, I really liked your last point that it is always okay to not to be productive every time, and this is how I also spent my COVID-19 days. I spent it in the most unproductive ways, and I spent a lot of time on my health by watching TV and spending time with my family. But now I'm realizing that that was a productive way of spending my time because it has a great impact on my mental health. So, thank you for bringing out those points. So, my last request to both of you is that what message would you like to give to our audience today? Share one last powerful message to our
So my
audience.
message would be: focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Focus on your character, not your reputation. Focus on your blessings, not your misfortunes.
And for me, that is Yug. My message is what mental health needs is more sunlight, more candor, and more unashamed conversations. It's a final taboo and it needs to be faced and dealt with together. Over to you, ma'am.
So, what a powerful message both of you have shared. Indeed, our audience are going to feel really, I can say, motivated, and they will be really happy to listen out about mental health from the points of the student and not from someone who is an expert in the field of mental health. So I'm really happy that you connected with us, our audience today. And if our audience want to connect with you, so what are some of the ways? Please share it with our audience that how they can approach you, how they can connect with you, or maybe if they are interested, how they can be part of your organization. That is Together We Can.
So, if you are passionate about the SDG goals or have any questions regarding our foundation, connect with us, follow us, or become a part of our organization and be a change maker. You can contact us through Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, or even Facebook with a social handle together_TY. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanmay and Yuk, for a wonderful conversation today and for sharing your views about mental health and well being, and especially during the week when Student Voice Day is celebrated globally. It really means a lot. You are our Edu rock star for the day, and I really appreciate all your initiatives to build up a more sustainable world. Your compassion, your commitment, and your social entrepreneurship skills at such tender age inspire the youth that every child can be a change maker instead of being a change breaker. I wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. It was a kind pleasure meeting you virtually and talking to both of you after such a long time. Thank you for coming on
Thank
my
you, ma'am.
show.
Thank you, ma'am.
Amazing to listen to these change makers telling us about what matters a lot to them, being a mental health talked about, and how to maintain mental health during pandemic. We have some more change makers giving us their advice on how we can maintain our mental immunity. Let us listen to their perspective as well.
I was asked the question on how to maintain mental health during COVID pandemic, and I thought about it and realized that all of us are facing the same issue of being at home, not able to do anything, not able to meet friends,
and it can be really exhausting. Even if you're doing no physical work, it can be mentally exhausting thinking about all the things that are happening around the world, families that are suffering. Even every one of us has have had repercussions of this pandemic. So a few weeks ago, I also had a similar experience, and I distracted myself reading a good book on internet, or if I have a hard copy, and I watch Netflix, talk to my friends. I also spend time playing family games. It really helps. Like simple games like Ludo or Monopoly. They help me realize that okay, I am not alone. My family is also there with me. I can spend time with them. It's the best way to utilize it. It's not that I only enjoy, I even completed my work, studied, worked for online projects, participated in MUNs, and this has really been entertaining. So instead of just brooding or staring at a wall and blaming the pandemic, we should try to find out ways to exert our energy in a more positive and friendly way. That's what I say.
Hi, I'm Namya. So, for me, I think to cope up with mental stress in the COVID pandemic, the first most important thing is to get up early, wherein you can do a morning walk and listen to the birds chirping, and then you can start exercising, do some stretching, and you can also work out. Personally, what I like is reading because that actually reduces my stress, wherein I can go to another world of my imagination. I also do some mandala art, and you can also set up your own routine, like creating a timetable or a checklist. And what my mother likes to do, and everybody else likes to do, is cooking. You can cook whatever you like, and then share that with your family, and they can tell you how good you are at cooking, and that motivates you to cook more. And you can share your feelings with others, or how you're feeling at that moment, and that lets your stress out, and you can be happy. And at night, you can write your gratitude to God and do stargazing.
Hi, this is Sia Gulati, and I'll help you maintain mental health in the pandemic. Sometimes our mind is not ours to control. Quite frequently, it wanders into thoughts that make us feel bad. But there are certain ways and methods to bring order to this brain of ours. Step 1 is to be positive. Just look at the brighter side. Explore the happiness of this world. Not only should you be positive, but you must spread it too. Smile at anyone you see. Step 2 is to pen down your thoughts. Maintain a journal. Write in it every day. Write in it the good things that happened during the day, the bad things, and things you're grateful about. You find a friend in that journal. A friend who listens to you well. Step 3 is to keep yourself busy. Don't give your mind the time to overthink. Occupy it. Indulge in your hobbies. Stay connected with your family, friends, and mentors. Follow your gut and just be yourself. These 3 steps and your mental well-being will never be a concern. Thank you.
You have just listened to the Edu Rockstar Talks podcast with your host Sumedha Sodhi. Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. Head over to subscribe, rate, and leave a review for us. It is very much appreciated. Do not forget to join us next week for another exciting episode. Thank you for listening to us, and be the never to be